The stars of today's video are these two beautiful bags over here. Here is my Chanel medium classic flap, and here is my Saint Laurent medium envelope bag. This is an in-depth comparison, and I will be covering things like dimensions, I'll give you close-ups, I'll give you modeling shots, I'll tell you pros and cons, and which one I would recommend. So if you're trying to decide between these two bags, this is the video for you. Stay tuned. Welcome back to another video, and if you're new here, my name is Dani and I love talking about handbags on this channel. I talk about luxury handbags, contemporary bags, as well as luxury inspired bags. If you like that kind of content, certainly subscribe and turn on notifications because I would love to have you back over and over again. Okay, starting first with dimensions, let's start with the big gun. This bag measures 25 centimeters in length, 16 centimeters in height, and 6.5 centimeters in depth. The strap drop when the straps are doubled up is 23 centimeters in length, and when we single it down to a long shoulder strap, this measures 40 centimeters. This is the Saint Laurent medium envelope bag, and it measures 24 centimeters in length, 17 centimeters in height, and 7 centimeters in depth at its widest part. When these straps are doubled up, it is 29 centimeters in length, and when it is singled down to a long shoulder strap, it is 55 centimeters. Side by side, the bags are quite comparable in size. The Saint Laurent bag is perhaps just slightly taller, and if I place them back to back, that's what they look like. Also pretty similar in depth. There is though quite a significant difference in strap drop. Now I'm going to give you some close-ups and a tour of the bag. This one here is the Chanel medium classic flap. It's got this beautiful puffy diamond shaped quilt. There is the turn lock over here with the CC logo. This is what it looks like on the front. On the side, that's what it looks like. And on the back, there is a Mona Lisa pocket. That's what it looks like on the other side. On the bottom, there's no feet. And on the top are 4 grommets. And going through those grommets is this beautiful chain. This is the classic Chanel chain, hardware interwoven with leather. Mine here is in a color dark burgundy. It comes with silver hardware, and she is in caviar leather. On the inside, up here we have a zipper pocket. The pocket only goes upwards, and that is how far it goes, just up to there. It doesn't open downwards at all. Then there is the second flap over here, and the purpose of the second flap is supposedly to maintain the structure of the top flap, because over time the flap can tent, and this second flap here is supposed to prevent that from happening, although it's not fully effective, I can tell you that. You can just look on the pre-loved market. On the back here, there is another slip pocket where I put my hand, but apparently we're not supposed to be using that pocket over there because that can cause the stitches on the sides here to pop, and you know, us luxury lovers don't want that to happen. Underneath the second flap is that CC logo, and there's Chanel made in France hot stamped over there in silver to match the hardware. I do have an insert at the moment in my bag from Katie, Australia. So on the inside is one big compartment. There are 2 slip pockets on the back there with a lipstick compartment in the middle. And there is also a slip pocket over here. Up next, my Saint Laurent medium envelope bag. So this is what it looks like in the front. It has a tri-quilting pattern. So the chevron pattern, and then the vertical quilts, as well as the diamond quilt. So if you're someone who couldn't decide between which quilting pattern you like, this is a good bag to go for, and that's what kind of happened to me when I bought this bag. This is in Saint Laurent's Grain de Poudre, or a pebbled leather. Mine here is in the color black with shiny gold hardware. It's got this pointy envelope shaped flap, hence the name, the envelope flap bag. So that's what it looks like on the side. On the back there is a very supposedly generous back pocket, but we can talk about that in a moment. And that's what it looks like on the other side. And on the bottom, there are no feet. On the top, just like the Chanel medium classic flap, there are 4 grommets, and these straps run through the grommets. The straps are made of this really beautiful gold chain, and there's a leather panel on those straps as well. Instead of a turn lock closure, this one has a magnetic closure that is very tight. Mine still has the stickers on it. On the inside, it is 1 compartment, and there's 1 slip compartment on the back. I'm just going to turn it around for you. On the back, there is 1 slip compartment over there. Over here, it is hot stamp Saint Laurent Paris, and there is another label down the bottom on the pocket, and I can't read that because I haven't got my glasses. Now I'm just going to flip the camera around so that I can give you a closer look at what fits in both of these bags. Okay, so let's do a comparison to see what fits in both of these bags. I'll start first with the Chanel classic flap. So very importantly, my phone, my iPhone 13 mini with a medium-sized case. This is not going to fit in the Mona Lisa pocket at the back. That's too tight, and you know, us luxury lovers know that we're not supposed to put anything at all in that back pocket. It's kind of just ornamental, really. This insert here is from Katie Australia. If you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description box below. That's not an affiliate link. My phone in here like so, and then the important bits, the card holder, and then the key clay. I should say key pouch. I keep saying key clay, but let's see. I think I can fit these vertically like so. Gives me a bit more space. Hand sanitizer. And then, to be honest, that's probably about it. The Chanel Classic flap doesn't actually fit that much. The Agenda PM is not going to fit in. And then my mini pochette certainly will not fit in because this is bulkier. What I would probably do in this case, because this bag is already quite small, I'd probably take out a few essentials that I need from in here. So my lip balm, my key fob, my bag hook, and if I needed some coins and some cards, I can probably take them out and stick them in my key clay or one of the card slots in this bag organizer over here. So I'll put my lippy in that slot over there, my car key fob over there, and then my bag hook in that one. And yeah, so what tends to happen is this button always hooks onto that, so you kind of have to pull it over. Okay, so yeah, that's how it would fit. Now let's see if all that's going to fit across into the medium envelope bag. Okay, the Saint Laurent medium envelope bag. Again, my phone. It has a back pocket, but I find it really stiff and really difficult to put my phone in and to take out. There's quite a bit of resistance to push it in. But there you go. If you really wanted to, you could. But I would say, like, if you're in a hurry and your phone's ringing and you're trying to get your phone out, when this bag is quite stiff, that's gonna still be quite challenging. So I'm gonna put my phone in the main compartment over there, and then the key clay as well as the card holder. So this one, my phone can fit vertically, and then this is probably when I can fit my mini pochette in vertically like that as well, and a hand sanitizer. Okay, and if I wanted to, these normally go into my mini pochette, but I can fit them loosely like that just for today. And yes, that will fit, no problems. That will fit no problem. Based on that exercise, the Saint Laurent medium envelope bag fits more than the Chanel Classic flap. And I think that's for a couple of reasons. And I think that's because with the Chanel Classic flap, there are these stitches over here. This one, there's one over there, and there's one over there, and just limits the capacity lengthwise a little bit. And also, I think this second flap in here does limit the height of what the bag can fit versus that one. So in the Saint Laurent medium envelope bag, I'm able to stand things up and therefore fit a few more things lengthwise. So my mini pochette can stand up in this one, but if, say, I just transfer my mini pochette across to the Chanel Classic flap, so yeah, that's where the limitation is. Say if the second flap wasn't there, we may just get the mini pochette in vertically. For those of us who still use long wallets, this is my Gucci long wallet. It is empty, so bear in mind that it's quite flat. It will fit in the Chanel Classic flap, just like so, but probably not much else. Would it fit my phone? Yeah, probably that's about it. You might fit a lippy in a corner, a hand sanitizer. But yeah, if you push the hand sanitizer in, you're going to be worried about compression issues and the hand sanitizer causing indents on your wallet there. So I probably wouldn't pack it like this technically. So I wouldn't recommend the medium classic flap if you're intending on carrying a long wallet. In terms of the long wallet and how it'll fit in the Saint Laurent medium envelope bag, you do have to shimmy it slightly diagonally and then it'll fit in just like so. And I'll fit my phone in vertically, and then card holder, key clay, and then hand sanitizer. So yeah, the Saint Laurent medium envelope bag will fit a long wallet better than the Chanel Classic flap. So I've noticed this before. When I put a long wallet into my medium envelope flap, it will push out against the gussets. So whether that bothers you or not. So it pushes out on this side as well as the other side. Okay, so tell me, did that surprise you that the Saint Laurent wallet and chain fitted more? To be honest, it did surprise me a little bit. I personally feel like the capacity of the Saint Laurent wallet and chain is pretty small, but at the same time, based on my experience, I know that the Chanel Classic Flap has pretty limited capacity anyway. So let's move on to talking about some of their differences and their pros and cons. So the first pro that we've already seen is that the Saint Laurent wallet on chain fits more. In terms of similarities, these two bags are both structured and very elegant. My Chanel Classic Flap I did buy pre-loved, so I think it is a little bit softer and sort of more broken in a little bit compared to my Saint Laurent wallet on chain. Now, structured bags, flat bags with chain straps, I find they're always extremely elegant and they look really good for dinner. I think both of these bags can be dressed down or dressed up, so they're versatile in that sense. Both of them have adjustable straps in the sense that within seconds you can convert both of these bags from a short shoulder bag to a long shoulder bag. Now, while we're talking about straps, the Chanel Classic Flap does have a very short strap drop. It is something that bothered me in the past before, and I think this is one of the reasons why the Chanel Classic Flap, the flap is prone to tenting. So, and that's because when you wear it as a short shoulder bag, and a lot of people do that, the weight of your arm is resting on the flap, and that's how the flap is eventually squashed. Whereas the strap drop on the Saint Laurent medium envelope bag, yeah, it sits at a much better height, somewhere around the waist rather than between the ribs. I've known people who have gone ahead and extended the strap on the Classic Flap. So Amelia Rose's Closet, she's done that to one of her Classic Flaps, and Something Latte also has done that to one of her vintage Classic Flaps. And I think that's made the carrying comfort a little bit better. From my point of view, I've gotten used to the strap being that short. I sort of wear it with the bag tucked behind my elbow anyway, so that I'm not squashing it. And because I'm a short person, I really like the crossbody length of this strap. Whereas the Saint Laurent medium envelope bag with the strap drop, I find that when I double up the strap drop is really comfortable. But when I go and lengthen it and single it down to a long strap, it's too long for me, whether it be crossbody or as a long shoulder bag. In terms of another pro, the Chanel Classic Flap is a more classic bag, I would say, because it's been around for a much longer time. So I can't argue the fact that, you know, this bag here is much more iconic than this bag over here. Although this is a very beautiful and classy looking bag as well, I do feel that this bag was inspired by this one. Another similarity between these two bags is that they both have back pockets. This back pocket is really small and you can really only put receipts or something along those lines in this one. Now with this back pocket over here, it spans the entire length of the bag. You know, it looks like you'll fit a lot. It is limited a little bit by, you know, there's these stitches over here that secures the pocket to the main part of the bag. It makes the entry point of these pockets just that little bit shorter. And also because of how stiff this leather is. This leather is significantly stiffer than my Chanel Classic Flap. I've said before in my in-depth review of this bag, this back pocket is very, very, very stiff. And I find it really difficult to put my phone in. To take my phone out, it's not that easy either. You do have to deal with a little bit of resistance. Although having said that, you know, that's my experience. I have had a viewer comment on one of my videos saying that she's used her bag a lot and her bag is older and this stiffness in the back pocket does improve somewhat. In terms of the opening mechanism, the Chanel Classic Flap has a turn lock and I personally prefer turn locks. This one here is a magnetic closure. It is a little bit stiff. I don't know if it will soften up. Saint Laurent is known to make very strong magnetic closures, and the pro of that is that it makes it really secure, but I would argue that, you know, the turn lock is pretty secure as well. There is something very ASMR about a turn lock. Oh, it is so nice. Yeah. The other con I would say about the Chanel Classic Flap is the second flap on the inside. People have said like, oh, it's so annoying to deal with two flaps to access your items. But I think it's a matter of getting used to it. So when I open up the flap, I unlock it and then I go via the side and I pick up both of the flaps and lift them up like that. But once you open it, you do have to hold on to both flaps so that that bottom flap doesn't just flap over things and get in the way. The other thing that I've realized as I've used it is that this button over here, does get caught on this leather over here. And if I get it at a right angle, and I'll come closer to show you. So there is a divot in the leather right here. And that's because when you close the bag, if you don't lift this flap properly over and you kind of just drag down the top flap, that button gets caught in leather, and that's what that dent is from. So you do have to work a little bit harder to close it as well if you want to maintain your bag. The other con is that you will get this indent on your flap. That can't be helped because of this zipper pull over here when the flap is closed. And that's why when we store this bag, you're not meant to lock it. You're meant to allow it just to sit open to try and minimize the pressure of this zipper pull over here on the bottom flap. So between the two bags, the other pro, I don't know, would you say it's a pro? The Chanel Classic flap has more compartments. It's got this slip pocket over here, and it's got these two pockets on the back wall over here, as well as a lipstick compartment. And it also has a pocket between the two flaps, and also that pocket over there. But based on what I hear people say, a lot of people don't use these little compartments. And, you know, as you can see over here, I've actually gone ahead and purchased a bag organizer or bag insert to protect the inside of the bag. And the other reason I use an insert is because there is the Chanel authenticity sticker or ID sticker in the corner over there. And if you have your items constantly rubbing against that sticker can peel off, and it does devalue the bag. So I'm protecting that sticker with an insert. My sticker is in that corner over there. Can you see that white sticker? Yeah. Now with the straps, the Chanel Classic flap does have a disadvantage. So although you can convert the strap very quickly from a double to a single strap, there's a lot more resistance when it comes to the Classic flap. Like, it takes longer, especially when the bag is closed. So it's easier if you open up the flap. And yeah, that's when it'll run through the grommets. Whereas the Saint Laurent wallet on chain, it is really smooth. The bag is completely closed, and you can very easily slide them through the grommets. And that difference, again, I think is because of this second flap over here. So when you have the top flap completely secured, it gets a little bit tight for the strap over here to just run smoothly between the grommets. In terms of the weight, the Classic flap weighs 667 grams, whereas the Saint Laurent medium envelope flap weighs 782 grams. So this is marginally heavier. Despite the fact that this bag is slightly heavier, it is a bit more comfortable to carry because it's got these leather panels. Now, when these bags are empty, neither of them are particularly balanced. The Chanel Classic flap can balance itself when it's empty, provided you put these straps behind it. Because of the weight of the flap, if you have the weight of the flap in front and the chains in front, it will tend to topple forward. The Saint Laurent wallet on chain, however, it just doesn't stand up on its own. It can be quite frustrating. Both bags are made of a pebbled leather. So this is Chanel Caviar leather, and this is Saint Laurent Grain de Poudre pebbled leather. So I think it is said that Saint Laurent Grain de Poudre is trying to, well, it's inspired by Chanel Caviar leather. And if you look at it, yes, they look very similar, but their feels are quite different. The Saint Laurent leather is much more structured and a lot stiffer. And my bag is, you know, relatively new. You can see how structured that leather is. It, you know, the flap doesn't quite open, whereas the Chanel Classic flap, and again, my Chanel Classic flap is secondhand. I think it's been used a little bit by the previous owner, but if you just do a side-by-side comparison, the leather on the Classic flap is much more compliant. I have said before in the review video of this bag, sometimes I do feel like I have to fight with the bag a little bit to get in, whereas I don't have to do that so much with the Classic flap. Both are made in different iterations by the respective fashion houses. There are more versions of the Classic flap because it has been around for longer. It comes in lots of colors and different hardware. There is, you know, the caviar leather, there is lambskin, there is tweed, and all sorts of other materials. Chanel hardware, there's silver, there's gold, there's ruthenium, there's rose gold. So, you know, lots of variety when it comes to this bag. The Saint Laurent medium envelope bag, as far as I know, it only comes in the Grain de Poudre or the pebbled leather. But again, Saint Laurent makes it in many, many beautiful colors and hardware combinations. When it comes to price, Chanel is the clear loser. It is currently $15,710. Holy guacamole. The Saint Laurent medium envelope bag has gone up in price a lot as well. So it is 4,140 Australian dollars. So wowzers, that's expensive too. But obviously like 30%, less than 30% of the price of the Chanel Classic Flap. Nonetheless, both of these bags, you can get them on the pre-loved market for slightly cheaper. The Chanel Classic Flap, given its current price, you know, often you can find them for at least 30% of the retail price. So as long as you're okay buying pre-loved, if you really want the Chanel Classic Flap, go for it pre-loved. And I'd probably recommend the same for the envelope bag as well. The other con that this second flap poses for the Chanel bag is storage. Because you can't sort of fit the strap anywhere. In order to store it, I wrap up the straps in a seatbelt cover to make sure that it doesn't dent any of that leather. And I do store this bag lying down so that the straps are not sitting on the bag. But yeah, so that's one disadvantage compared to the Saint Laurent wallet on chain, where you can pull the straps in through the grommets. And because there's no second flap, you can just take the chain and stick it inside the bag and store it like so. And there's no concern about any of the chains denting the leather. All right, so some mud shots with my Chanel Classic Flap in the medium size. This is what it looks like on my shoulder. I love how that looks. But as I said before, there's a risk that you could tent the flap with the arm resting on the flap like so. If I'm aware, I will flick the bag backwards like this, or just behind my shoulder like this, so that I don't rest my arm on the bag. And yeah, I think it looks really good on the shoulder. So this is the bag long shoulder, and I think it looks really nice as well at this length, wearing it long shoulder for myself. I love it. And then crossbody, see how high it is. Now, because I'm so short, I'm only 5 foot or 152 centimeters. I actually really love my crossbody bags at this height. Yeah, love it, love it, love it. My Saint Laurent medium envelope bag. So doubled up, that's what it looks like. Really nice as well. And so I think this is way too long. And crossbody, I still find that it's too long. I don't like my bags touching the top of my leg. So yeah, I think that's too long. And I'm gonna show you both bags together. So when the straps are singled down, this is the strap drop difference. So very significant. And when I put them on my shoulder, that's the difference in strap drop. So really significant. If I crossbody them, this is when us YouTubers look like crazy bag ladies, wearing like multiple bags. So that's the strap drop difference. Yeah, pretty significant too. The straps are doubled up, that is the difference. I might put it over here so you have a better view with a white background. And if I put them on, that's the difference. Put it the other way around. That's the difference. Side one, side two, side one, side two. How about that? Right, so finally, which bag would I recommend? There's such a story time behind these two purchases. So I did hold off on buying the Chanel Classic Flap for the longest time for obvious reasons, because, you know, it's so expensive. I did purchase the Saint Laurent medium envelope bag as a distraction bag, and at that time, obviously, when I was obsessing over it, I did think the bag was very, very beautiful. Nonetheless, it did not hold as much as I wanted it to. So that was my main gripe with this bag. I still think it is very beautiful. It is very elegant. It's very statement. Because it's so structured, it is great as an evening bag. It looks just so formal and serious. And I also like the strap drop as well as the leather panels on the straps over here. But essentially the heart ones, and I could not get over the Chanel Classic Flap. It's one of my holy grail bags, and I added this to my collection only in November 2022. So If you're looking for a bag that is statement and beautiful, but on the much more affordable side, I would absolutely recommend the Saint Laurent medium envelope bag. But if your heart really wants the Chanel Classic Flap, I would say go ahead and purchase the Chanel Classic Flap. If I could do it all again, I would have just gone ahead and purchased this Chanel Classic Flap. Like, if I think about it, in 2020 I was looking at buying this bag, and the price of the bag at the time was, from memory, it was 7,200 Australian dollars, and now it's over $15,000 in 2023. I did purchase this pre-loved, and despite that I paid 8,700 for this bag. So I paid more for a pre-loved bag in 2023 compared to a brand new bag in 2020. And if I just went ahead and paid for a Chanel bag back then, it would have saved me probably over 3,000 Australian dollars, given the price increases plus all the other distraction bags that I purchased to try and get over this bag. But leave me a comment. I'm so interested to hear if you are looking for either of these bags, which one you would go for, or even if you're not looking to buy, what would your suggestion be? Which bag would you suggest for people to buy? And well, I guess if you're looking to buy this bag, go ahead and read the comment section to see what everyone else says. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. If you found value in the video and you'd like to donate to the channel to support me, feel free to give me a super thanks where you can nominate a monetary amount to contribute to the channel. Thank you so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. I know that there are so many other channels and so many other videos you can choose to watch, so I really appreciate that you clicked on my video and have stayed with me all the way to the end. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Now on screen, I'm going to leave a couple of videos related to these two bags, so if you're interested in any of them, certainly click on the thumbnails and I'll see you over there.